For a very long time, 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 I've been trying to rhyme. And what I mean by rhyming, I'm trying to say that I'm trying to go on other people's vibration, and it has not worked out. And I'm tired. I'm really tired. The reason why I'm tired is because I feel drained. Like a bank whose water has been taken out but not replenished. And I'm supposed to magically regenerate all this water. Oh, excuse me. Regenerate all this water in a week rainfall. And then I'm supposed to just put 2 to 3 times the number of the water that I've been given in. I'm supposed to figure it out. So, yeah, that's the dilemma I'm in. And even in my and even in my most frustrated moments, I have managed to find a way to make things better, right? But yet to this day, I'm not. And I don't want acknowledgement. I just want understanding, because it's like, yo, dude, if I put all this time to think of how do you make your life better, right? And I'm telling you how to make it better, and yeah, you choose not to make it better. Like, who the fuck am I? Like, I'm fucking worthless. Like, that's literally what it fucking feels like, right? And I should never say that out loud, because it's not the way of living. It's not the way of being peaceful. But it is frustrating, because I feel frustrated. Like, it's getting to the point where, like, I feel like I'm giving people fucking gold, and I'm getting return. I don't even know what. Like, because I don't want fucking anything in return. I just want people to success. And it's like, dude, if I give you like everything possible to succeed, and you still don't succeed, and then you blame me for not succeeding, and it's like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, and then the thing is, like, you don't even have to blame me, because these beings, these beings, they don't even blame me. It's more like they're afraid to confront me, because it's like, what the fuck are you doing? And it's like, but I also have to come to peace that they have to make mistakes. They have to break. They have to collapse. They have to travel through the portal of destruction and coming back into life and become babies, and they have to live through life all over again, and they have to struggle through all these things. But yet I've chose not to keep going down this path, and I have to accept that other people are not doing the same thing I'm doing. And I think that's hard. It is hard. But I tell everyone and everything to give themselves credit, but I'm the most stubborn person to give myself credit. And I'm gonna just hate this, do as I tell you, not as I do. And it's like, that's shitty advice. Because nobody should live in that vice. Because the moment you decide to live in that vice is the moment that you decide to live outside of yourself. And if you live outside of yourself, that means you live outside of the understanding that your actions have consequences, right? And if your actions have consequences, that means you have consequences. And those consequences have prices. And then that means you have to pay the price for your actions. And if your actions pay a price, that means there's a reward to something or anything. And that's how it works. Checks and balance. The checks and balance are essentially not really defined by you, are defined by those who give word of your the checks and balance are defined by those who give word of your misfortunes. Because you essentially give away the things that no longer hold value to you. So what you hold value to doesn't mean that other people or other beings don't hold value to. And that's when life starts becoming a little more interesting, because the moment you no longer push yourself for the material world is the moment you stop. Now you stop, but you start to understand that it's kind of hard to put people's feelings. But whatever, I have to say this. The moment you stop living for the flesh is the moment you stop living for them. And the moment you stop living for them is the moment they start decaying. And the moment they start decaying is the moment you start losing yourself. And the moment you start losing yourself, that means you start losing light. And the moment you start losing lights, that's the moment you start becoming a black hole. And the moment you start becoming a black hole, that means you start to become a being that only relies on sucking in lights. And then what happens is, after a while, you suck enough light, and then once you become enough light, then you become a bang. And then you become a bang, and then you start exploring yourself through the universe, becoming light. And then once you start becoming light, is that there gets to a point that you can no longer expand yourself, and then you become a sun. And then once you become a sun, because all your energy started to stop somewhere and started exploring themselves, you start attracting other things. And the moment you start tracking other things, those other things start attracting other things. And then those other things start attracting other things. And then you start becoming a family. And that family start becoming a community. And that community start becoming a community. And then eventually you start becoming a city. And that city start becoming a state. And that state start becoming a country. And that country start becoming a whole big circle of understanding. And then that circle of understanding starts becoming sharing things, and that thing starts becoming sharing things, and that thing shares things, and that shared things start becoming shared things. And then you start talking about the Microsoft, and then the same circle arrives, because essentially you start becoming so macro that there's no limit to the macro, and then you start hitting a cap, because you don't want to push yourself to the limit, because the moment you start pushing yourself to the macro understanding, and then you go in reverse and you live the macro experience, because that's what life is. That's what being. Oh, stop doing that. I don't like when you do that. So the moment you start becoming macro, right, to the point that you understand macro, then you go all the way to the top, and then you become a baby. And then all that knowledge, the purpose of me being a kid is for you to remember. We suck at it. So the whole point of me being a kid, through the macro experience, right, because you're the biggest thing there is on the block, right, is to remember. And then you go back. And then you go back. And then you go back. And then you realize that you don't remember anything, because your aging process actually requires for you to forget. And then when you're younger, it requires for you to forget, because you die when you're old. At least most humans do. You die when you're old, and then you become a baby. So that means you lose your memory. So the older you are, doesn't mean the wiser. It just means it's gonna take you longer to come back, because That means you have to recover yourself, but twice for long for most humans. And so, essentially, I don't know. Figure it out. I'm not gonna give you any advices. Just figure it out. And best of luck, buddy. Best of luck. Just know that we are here for help, but not directly. You can't ask for help directly. Because we're only here to help unless you actually need it. So, figure it fucking out, man. Keep rocking. Keep doing what you do. Because at the end of the day, we are here one with you. Adios.